Hello Dream Team members! Today is the day I show you all the horses I tried on my adventures leading up to getting my little Cupid. I tried a variety of horses like stallions, ponies. Let's start there. The first horse I go to see is a 7-year-old large paint pony mare. They said that she just came from an auction and was really being trained for about a month. Over the phone, they did tell me that she was broken walk trot, but when I got there, the guy who was riding her actually told me that she was barely broke at the walk and that the trot that they did was apparently a couple of accidental trot steps. So a big issue I was having with her that they told me was an issue was getting her to go forward. So she would kind of take a couple steps, plant her feet, and then take a lot of effort to get going again. I did want to see what she'd do in the trot if I could get her up into the trot, and apparently I put the first real trot on her since they've had her. But honestly, she did pretty well, trotted around really cute. She did have some trouble bending and flexing. I wanted to go ahead and put her on the lunge line to see how she moved at a faster rate because we really weren't going anywhere anytime fast under saddle. When I asked her to go more forward on the lunge line, she did pull back out of the circle a little bit. And then I asked if I could trot her over this cavaletti, and she did stop. However, her brain kept moving forward, which I like. She didn't back off of it. She was just like, okay, how do I get over that? And then there was one time when she came around and her leg clipped it a little bit because she drifted way too far outside, and she handled that pretty well. I did like her, but it was hard with all the different information I got when I showed up in person. I didn't know she was fresh out of auction. I didn't know she was actually not really even broken at the walk. Maybe I could have asked a little more questions before making the drive out there, but you let me learn. Overall, I only would have been interested in her if I could have spent a little more time with her, like a trial before buying or a lease, and they really just wanted her sold and gone. So I passed on her. The next horse I go to see is this 3-year-old 15-3-ish hand-high Frisian Appaloosa cross, 50-50 both. And he was a stallion. Now, I actually really liked my experience with this lady and with this horse. She was very kind and transparent about everything. Again, apparently I was the first person to ride this horse besides the trainer, or even just handle this horse. Really, he was just handled by the trainer that I got to meet and not really shown any sort of affection, really. He was very much just a trained to be working horse and stuff. So whenever I started petting him and really giving him attention, he just melted. So sweet. But riding, he was pretty good. He was broken walk trot canter. This was about the 6th ride they've had on him. Very green still, but it seemed like he had a good head on him. They were kind of chasing me with the whip to get him to go, and he wasn't freaked out or anything. I was like, okay, I don't want to die up here. Don't chase me with the whip. The owner threw a rock out of the arena and it accidentally hit one of the fence posts, and he had a little bit of a spook, but not a big freak out. I liked how he moved. I liked how he responded, but overall it went really well, and I think he has a lot of potential. And I was really interested in this horse, and I was on the verge of buying him, but my gut just kept telling me to do more research and to look into something, and I found that he had hyperflexion in all 4 legs. Now, this is not a vet diagnosis. I didn't even get to the pre-purchase exam because my gut would not let me get over this thing. This is where the fetlock flexes way past the range of motion, usually bred to give them prettier gaits and floaty looks, but it can be very damaging to their legs. So even if it didn't affect him now, it's a can of worms that I really just didn't feel comfortable taking on in case it did affect him down the line. And we're talking early death, continuous degradation on these joints, neurological problems even, chronic lameness. I unfortunately did have to pass on him, but I came really close. Honestly, if that wasn't the issue, I probably would have gotten this horse. And then I go to a facility that had quite a few horses for sale or for half lease. This first horse was a for sale horse, and he was a 17-1 or 17-2 hand-high thoroughbred, and he was a gelding. So he was just getting back into work from some continuous lameness issues, they said, because he was apparently pushed too hard at his last place. So she warned me that he was pretty unbalanced and a little unstable. There is a lot of movement going on in the canter for sure. You can see in these videos that he's really falling into the inside. Yes, I'm asking him to practically go out on the rail, but he is just not
set up or balanced or strong enough to really hold himself yet. She said that we can do some of the little jumps in there, that he'd be fine with that. So I took him over some jumps, and he was actually really, really fun to jump. He had a great stride, great form, just a really fun guy. But at the end of our ride, she was very honest with me and did tell me that he would have some physical limitations, especially if I wanted to do anything jumping 3 foot consistently or above. He wouldn't be able to do that. And if y'all know, I compete 3'6", 3'9", so that really wasn't going to work out for us. And he was just for sale. He wasn't for like a half lease at all. So we both agreed that he really just wasn't going to be the right option for me. Then I tried this Schoolmaster horse for a half lease, which is basically I just pay some money to come ride it in my free time, like outside of lessons. This was another option that I was looking into besides buying, just so I could get some more ride time. But I did really want something I could bond with and take care of and all the fun stuff that comes with owning a horse. But I did want to see what they had in store in case I couldn't find a horse to buy. And she was super, super fun. I really liked her. I took her out on a trail ride too. She had a great little jump. Definitely would be a good option if I was looking to half lease. She was either a large pony or a small horse, a mare. I'm not sure how old she was, but she definitely wasn't too young, because then I rode her daughter after her. And her daughter right here, she is a large pony mare. I think they are paint mixed with something, if I remember correctly. Now this horse was available for sale. She had a really cute trot. Looking back in these videos, she looks a little bit like my first pony, Charlotte, which is super cute. I think I may have had my stirrups a little bit too short, which may have enhanced this issue, but I just felt like her canter was a little bit rocky back and forth. I liked her trot, but her canter wasn't the most comfortable, but they said she could jump. And so we took her over a jump, and boy almighty, she can jump. She absolutely launched me over one of these jumps. And I was not expecting that big of a jump out of this little pony. But she did say that she sometimes has a bit of a refusing problem. One of the trainers walked out in front of the jumps a little bit whenever we were coming around to it, and she refused it. And then they set up a supposed 2-stride for me to go through. And maybe the person who set it up didn't actually jump, because it was definitely not spaced to be a 2-stride. And I'm pretty sure this pony could see that it wasn't, because she would not go through it. And unfortunately, after that refusal, she just kept on refusing and kept on refusing. Honestly, a little bit rightfully so, because I could tell that it was way too short, but I was like, oh, okay, let's trot in and see how short it is. And clearly it was very, very short. We barely fit 2 strides in. And then the girl who usually rides her got on her, and she was refusing a lot with her too. And since this was a buy option, I really just didn't want something that already had a refusal problem. And I just wasn't quite comfortable with her canter either, so I passed on her. Got on another horse that was available for half lease again. I just did not vibe with her movement. She was very, very uphill, which they were up front and said that. And then I got on and started moving, and I was like, yeah, she's very uphill. So she had a lot of movement in her forehand, and it just kind of put me off balance and stuff. And I took her over a little jump, but I was like, yeah, okay, I don't think she's gonna be the one for me to even just ride around on for fun. And we switched horses. Now at this point, I am exhausted and I'm freezing. This is the 5th or 6th horse I've ridden, and keep in mind, for every single horse, I had to go catch the horse, groom it, tack it up, ride it, take it back, untack it, groom it, put it back in its pasture, and then do that for every other horse too. So we're a few hours in now, and it's freezing cold. I am exhausted. I just really wasn't riding my best at this point. The next horse I get on is like a 20-year-old gelding. He's a small horse and really just like a true lesson pony. He kind of had some of those lesson pony bad habits that they get away with, like running into the fence and stuff. He was fun, but not really my cup of tea. He kind of plowed through everything and just not my favorite of the options of half lease. If I had a half lease, I think it would be that paint pony. So we left this place, and I definitely had some good options for half leases if I couldn't find a horse of my own. But I still wanted to find a horse of my own.
Then a little bit of time goes by and I find this ad on Facebook and I am immediately intrigued. So I messaged them and I made an appointment ASAP, okay? Oh my god, the horse market is like wildfire right now. There were horses being sold like the same day that I was interested in them. And thankfully, he was not gone by the time I went and saw him. And that is little Cupid. So the first time I went out and tried him, I watched the trainer ride him for a little bit. And here is a big hack that I think everybody who's looking for a jumper should do this when they're going to try a horse. I wanted to make sure if I was to take him to a show, if I was to show him anything new that he had to jump over, how he would react. So I took off my jacket and asked if I could put it on one of the jumps, and she said sure. She had confidence in him. He definitely did look at it, and he definitely took a step back, right? And was like, what is that? He's 5 years old. He's only been under saddle for a few months. I can't expect him to be bomb-proof, but I can expect him to be brave. And that was a big thing watching him work through this. I wanted to see how he reacted. If he was to be high-strung, spin around, run the other way, that could be a big sign of him harboring some anxiety or some bad training in the past. But he didn't do that. He looked at it and he kept moving forward. I really liked how he worked through it. So then I got on and jumped him around. Really liked how he felt under me. I liked how he moved. You could tell he was a bit green, and obviously he doesn't have that much muscle yet, so he couldn't really carry himself that well, but his movement was still pretty steady and I liked that. So then I left and I was planning to try 2 more horses the next day, but the trainer said they already had a couple more appointments for people to come see him in the following days, so I was like, no. I know how that goes. I know how that goes. I was really interested in this horse, so I decided to go ahead and cancel the 2 other horses I was gonna go see elsewhere and come back to him the next morning. Mind you, this is like a few hour drive for me, so I drove like 6 to 7 hours back to back to go see this horse again. This time around, I really made sure, you can't see it in the video, but I wanted to do everything just a little bit differently. So instead of tacking him up in that barn, I asked to tack him up outside. Instead of warming him up in the indoor, I asked to warm him up in the outdoor arena. I took him over the jumps that were in the outdoor arena without showing them to him first, and he didn't hesitate. Good sign. Then I asked them if we could take him on a little trail ride around the property or something, just so I could see how he is outside of the arena. And he wasn't like, woo, yes, we're outside and we're trotting, yeah, you know. There's horses like that, I'm sure y'all know. Introduced him to some chickens. The other horses were freaking out and he was just staring at them looking like, oh, y'all look funny. Okay. Loved that. All these flags are green. I'm loving his personality, loving how he rides. So I was like, let's go ahead and do it. Let's get that vet check. He said that he moved really well and just kept continuously saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's like 5 years old. Usually we have to wrangle them to stay still during this part. And then we went inside, still doing our vet check, and unfortunately this other horse came in just like drenched in sweat, heaving, right? Like looking really bad. This horse was colicking. Thankfully, the vet was there, but there is definitely chaos going on inside the barn, and the vet just had to tend to him. All in all, we were probably doing a vet check for like an hour or 2. Like it was a long vet check. I was really happy with how Cupid never once pawed, he never once whinnied, he never freaked out, he wasn't getting antsy, he was just standing there super chill. He's a 5-year-old thoroughbred that's like really inexperienced, right? Like this was just his natural demeanor, and I loved that. Thankfully, the horse that was colicking did go into surgery and made it out of surgery, and is just having a recovery now. But yeah, so then I decided to purchase a little Cupid. And now he's my boy and I love him so much. He has definitely lived up to my expectations. He is so chill to work with. So that's all the horses I tried. Let me know your thoughts below. Which one did you like the best? Which one would you have decided to buy? I know Cupid is the best decision I could have made for me, and everything that happened, not getting that other horse, worked out to leading me to him, and I'm so grateful for that. But let me know what you would have picked. Thank you for watching. Join us next time. Go out there and dream, believe, achieve. Bye! Goodbye.